Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to another episode of Glass Half Full, a podcast and a safe platform where we talk with a variety of teachers, entrepreneurs, spiritualists, uplifters, givers, shakers, and serenaders. Everyone has a lesson to learn and a lesson to share. Let's use our life experiences to enrich someone's heart, mind, spirit, and soul. Through sharing our experiences, we can be a learning inspiration for one another. I'm your host, Chris Levins. Let's welcome today's guest. Today's guest is Christopher Cochran. Christopher Cochran is the author, inspirational speaker, CEO, and director of the Christian Cochran Legacy Fund. Christopher Cochran is the author of What's Good About Today? A Purpose-Driven Life, and the founder of the Christian Cochran Legacy Fund of the Pittsburgh Foundation, dedicated to spreading his late son Christian's legacy of love, positivity, and resilience. Let's give a warm welcome to Christopher Cochran.
Thank you for the intro, Chris. That was pretty good.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, thank you. I tried to do my best. Thank you very much. As a Christopher, I hope that I could bring you in right as well. So good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I am
What's
very
good about today. I'm here with you.
Yeah. Oh, bless your heart. Look at you. Yes, it's evening for me, and I am doing very well. Thank you for asking. And we're happy to have you as a guest here on Glass Half Full. Can you tell everyone where you are in the world and what time it is, please?
I am located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It is 9:39 a.m. And I live about 15 minutes north of the city, a little suburb of Pittsburgh called Cranberry, Wexford. So it only takes me about 15, 20 minutes. I'm downtown Pittsburgh, so which is nice.
Nice. Cranberry. That sounds nice. That's cute.
Yeah, cranberries are nice. There's nothing threatening about the word cranberry.
No, not at all. Not at all.
To it.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true too, right? Well, we ain't gonna worry about that today. All right, we're gonna jump right on in. I like to ask all my guests this first question. I believe that our lives are in spiritual design. Can you share your life layout or blueprint with everyone? This is how you grew up, where, your family lifestyle, up until today.
Sure. I was born into a loving two-parent home. I grew up with 4 other siblings, all boys. If you can imagine the wildness of that home, it was very close-knit family.
You got a strong mother.
Family has always... What's that? Yes, she is. She's a
4 boys. Yeah, she's strong.
And we were all wrestlers, so you can imagine the madness going on there. Family's always been at the center of my life, and we've certainly, as in that time, we faced our share of joys and challenges together, like any family across this country, across this world. And my journey was really shaped by the loss of my son Christian, and he passed away of cancer at the age of 23. And honestly, his wisdom and positivity have been a profound impact on me. And it's his spirit and his mantra and the things that he taught me that inspired me to write the book, What's Good About Today? A Purpose-Driven Life, and create, as you mentioned, the Christian Cochran Legacy Fund through the Pittsburgh Foundation. And really today, I just continue to work as a father, an author, a speaker, a business professional. I'm an entrepreneur. I run my own business. I started it back in 2008 in technology. I sit on the board for a biotech company, a public biotech company that focuses on cancer research for very difficult cancers to solve. And ultimately sharing Christian's message of positivity and resilience with the world. That's my goal for the rest of my life. That's my path at this point.
Did you grow up in a spiritual family at all? Did you attend any type of services, churches? Were you guys involved in that type of thing growing up or no?
Yeah, very much so. So I grew up as a Lutheran in central Pennsylvania, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. My mother was very much tied into community religiously. We went to church every Sunday. I was an altar
Okay.
boy.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
was in the yeah, I was in the choir. My father was actively involved as well. All of my brothers, we were actively involved. So my mother raised us in that, climate. My mother was also very active. She took a real interest in helping those who were in need.
Nice.
So my mother, even as a young child, she would take me on adventures to nursing homes, to
Mm.
adult care facilities, hospitals. She was so creative, and she was a house mom, but she was the most creative person you ever met. She just brought a smile to everyone's face, and what she could do is she could just create something. I remember we went. It always sticks in my mind. We went to an old folks' home, and she told everybody in the crowd, she said, "We're going to go to China today." And everybody's like, they're like, "What?" And my mom had one of those giant dragons that they create a parade.
Yes.
And she started from the beginning as if they were all in their seats on a plane. And she created this imagery of taking them overseas and
Mm.
gave them the illusion that they were arriving in China because they couldn't go anywhere.
Wow.
And my mother just had this amazing creativity to generate smiles and to create this warmth and this light. And otherwise, these people were going through darkness and
Mm.
really at the end of their life. So I learned early on that empathy and caring for others was always a structure of my life, and that's due to my mother
I
very
love
much so. My
that.
father was a Navy man. He was a
Mm.
frogman during the Korean War. He
Okay.
served on a sub. So you can imagine he came from, he's very strict. And, when I say strict, he was very loving, but very strict about, being honorable and loyalty. And so that's
Mm.
where I picked up a lot of those, the traits.
I love that. What great qualities, and how exciting for your mom to that you could experience that, that she would take you
Yeah.
with her, because that is so amazing. Yes, the sense of
Yeah.
just the imagery of where we are and imagining. We do this with in drama workshops as well. Like this, it's so great,
Mhm.
and we can have the adventures, and that is awesome that she could show you that at such a young age. Wow, awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. And
Yeah.
are
She
your
was
parents
beautiful.
still living?
No, no, my parents passed away
Oh,
within a year of one another back in 2014.
oh, I'm so
So
sorry.
yeah, but no, nothing to be sorry about there. Now, my parents lived a beautiful, full life.
Mm.
I'm very grateful that I got the time. So anyone would be lucky to live the full lives that they live. So, listen, death is something that all of us deal with. So it's nothing. It's just another destination. So, but they lived full. They were very loving. They were together, married for my Lord, 50 years, more than 50, 60 years, I guess,
Wow.
70 years.
Wow.
Yeah, long time.
That's a long time.
So yeah, we stayed, so like I said, very tight family that way.
And are
And
you still
they
close
were
with your
good.
brothers?
Yeah, yeah, four brothers. We're spread out all over the country,
Hmm.
but we talk.
Oh,
We
that's
see each
great.
other when we can. And yeah, we're, there's always been, siblings are interesting. You can
Yes.
have arguments. I'm sure people can relate to that.
Hmm.
Disagreements, and I think especially when you go through the things that my wife, my two other children, we all went through in the last 3 years, 4 years, it separates out a lot of things, some good, some bad, but
Hmm.
it's okay. Yeah, I have a relationship with them, so that's a good thing.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, for sharing.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you, what's been your greatest awakening?
My greatest awakening.
Yes.
Well, that's yeah.
Maybe
So
there could be
that's
more
a
than one, right? But something that has taken you from one place to another, you've realized you've
yeah.
changed. It has changed you, changed your life in a direction.
Well, that's actually a pretty easy question because my greatest awakening was realizing the impact Christian's message and how deeply it resonated with others. His question of what's good about today, it just continues to guide me. Has been become a way of life for many, honestly, and who have heard the story. So it awakened me to the power of love, to the power of resilience, and the importance of sharing that message with the world. So that awakening to see the impact that it has on so many has just strengthened my resolve, strengthened my will to continue to show love as long as there's air in my lungs, that's my ultimate goal in this life.
Mm.
And I'll continue to do that. Yeah, that's my greatest awakening for sure.
I love that. I love that. So tell us about Christian. What happened? What has brought up to this point?
Yeah, well, Christian, beautiful soul. You talked about theater. Christian was a big theater boy.
Hmm.
Um, so Christian, my wife and I are high school sweethearts. We started dating when I was 15.
Oh, that's cute.
And thank you. I'm 55 now, so you can do the math on that.
Oh, I
Uh,
love that. It's still out there. You guys are like a storybook. Oh, that's cute.
oh, so sweet.
Nice.
Yeah. So we dated all through high school. We dated through college. She went to the University of Pittsburgh. I went to the University of Tennessee. And we met at a party by happenstance. You know, she was an upperclassman. She was 2 grades ahead of me. She was beautiful, and we connected on a stairwell, literally past one another, just eyes, no talking. The next day, she asked me out on a date, which is, you know, you think about it, how amazing that a woman would do that. She just called me up, asked me out on a date, and I decided to go on this date. I forgot completely that I already had a girlfriend. Luckily, she was out of
Oh
town.
my gosh, are you
Uh,
serious? Come on.
yeah, she was out of town with her parents on vacation. But I knew there was something really special about this person, and she, because of her kindness, right? It's the thing that draws me into anyone is just genuine kindness, and so I knew right away that this is someone I needed to be near.
Oh,
And we
nice.
started our journey. We got engaged, got married, had a beautiful honeymoon. We decided to have children, which
How
was
old are
the
you at
most
this point?
important thing. I was 26, I think, when I got
Okay, okay.
married. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, 26. I graduated. We spent 2 years kind of in that, love fest of just let's not, let's enjoy
Enjoy
this,
everything, of course. Which is
because
needed.
we knew
It's
as soon as
needed.
yeah, we knew we wanted to have kids pretty quickly, and so we did, and we knew the name immediately, which was Christian. Christian's our firstborn, and we just knew he'd be special. We knew that he was going to be something different from the get go, and he was. I think before the age of 11 months, he was speaking full sentences.
Oh,
He
wow.
was just in tune. Now, intelligently, he was that, but what we noticed early on was his compassion, his love was extraordinary. He had this incredible empathy in him. So we used to refer to him as Mr. Comforter because he could comfort all those who were not feeling well or not
Mm.
doing well. And I remember Christian, even at 8 years of age, when he was getting on the bus for the first time, all these kids, they bustle to get on that bus. They got to get the best seat. They got to be next to the best friend. They got to be in the back of the bus. And Christian never did that. Christian always let everyone go onto the bus first, including at the very end, it would be the special needs children, and he would help them on, and he would take the last seat. He didn't mind being in the front because they gave him an opportunity to communicate and talk with the bus driver.
Okay,
He
now.
just, that's how he thought about life. And so, but on August 26th of 2020, Christian was hit with terminal cancer,
Wow.
and he had just graduated from college, from honors college, and he had come home. School's only an hour and a half away. And up to this time, Christian was an extraordinary human being, always had been. He, like I had mentioned, he was the lead in every musical, he's the lead in every play. He was the prom king in a very large school, very well known. He had been in a movie, he was in The Dark Knight Rises. Uh, he had he was on the path doing some amazing things, and he came home, he felt back pain, and ultimately, we had blood tests. We had to get a CT scan, and we were taken to Hillman Cancer Institute. And I remember walking in with my son, and the doctors telling Christian he had terminal cancer.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
remember my knees buckling
Mm.
because I just knew this was the shift ultimately in Christian's life that had changed everything, changed his life, changed my life, changed my family's life, changed all the beautiful people around him and how it would affect them. But Christian was so strong. He looked at me, put his hand on my shoulder. He said, Dad, don't worry about it. I'm going to be just fine, and you're going to be fine,
Oh,
and
wow.
everything's going to be fine. And he just had that strength. And I tell you, when he came home that day, of course, I had to come back to the house. You could only let one parent in the hospital. I had to go back and
Oh,
tell his
okay,
mother what had
okay.
happened.
Oh my gosh.
I assured her everything was going to be fine, and you can imagine this scene. And all of us are sitting down, and I told her what had been told to us
Oh
and what
my
was going to
gosh.
happen.
Wow.
And Christian, when we said to Christian, we're so sorry, as we cry, and we said, we're so sorry for what this has done to you. Why, and to this point, we're good people, we're not bad people. We go to church, we do all the right things. We've stayed together.
Yeah, you feel like, why has this happened to
But that's
us? Yeah.
sure, you go through those questions, and certainly you learn that later on why those questions.
Mm.
But he said to us, it's okay. I would rather this burden be mine. I don't want it to be anyone else's burden. That's what he said to us.
Wow. And he's like
Eh,
22, 23 years old.
He's 22.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
statement to come from a 22-year-old. My gosh.
And I'll tell you something, Chris, from the moment Christian got the diagnosis to the moment he took his last breath here in our house, surrounded by all of our love, he never complained one time.
Wow.
He never said, why me? He never said, why did this happen to me? He quite the opposite. He flourished. He went and got it. He wanted to work. If you can imagine, remotely. He worked for ADP. He didn't want to let people down. He started to create his own music.
It pushed him to do more.
Yeah, he did podcasts. Yeah, it's podcasts. And the book, What's Good About Today, is his message, because his mother and I would say to Christian, we're so sorry. And I would cry, I'm so sorry. And he'd say, no, Dad. He said, what's good about today? And it was his question. It was his daily reminder to us that you can absolutely see the beauty, the wonder in every single day. Yes. And that could be through the laugh of someone, a walk, the sun that shines on you, drinking a cup of coffee as I had this morning, the fact that I get to move around, go out, hear the birds chirp. There are so many things that are beautiful about the day. And he reminded us that you have to look at those things. And he did remind us and friends and family when they would be the ones that are down. He's the one that's going to die. And he's
yeah, like, come on, you guys, put it together.
Guys, look at the beauty in all this. And so death was just another journey for him. And he was excited for the journey.
He could see it because there's more. This isn't it for us. But yeah, he understood that. Wow. Yeah. Wow, that is amazing. Amazing individual. Thank you for sharing the story and just touching on that. Just I realize even probably just it's a joyous thing as you're sharing it with us, and we can tell. But still, thank you for opening up that. I want to talk a little bit about the book. So you have written this book. Tell me, what is it that you hope that readers take away from the story or the message of the book?
Well, of course, I wrote the book to honor Christian and his message. His positivity, strength throughout the illness is what inspired myself and everyone around him. I wanted to share our family's journey, the lessons we learned from Christian, offer hope to others going through difficult times. And the book is a tribute to his life and a way to keep his message of love and gratitude alive. People have asked me, they'll say, what's this book, in a general sense, what it's about? And it's a love story. It's a love story about a family and it takes you back to the very beginning. I talk about meeting my wife, right? Because you got to bring context to a book and how did this journey happen? And this journey, by the way, and I've come to learn, I speak it a lot. And I go to events and I'm invited in for different reasons. I speak at university level, which is young adults. That's a different kind of message.
Yes.
I speak at places where it's promotional of the book, and that draws a crowd of people who are going through difficult grieving, who have grieved much worse circumstances than mine, and that's the book was meant to be able to provide a roadmap. That's why I call it a purpose-driven life, because you can always go back to this book. And at the end of every single chapter, there's really a subset of just outline of that chapter. Right? Things that you've learned, things that we talked about, things that you can take with you, takeaways.
A little outline. Because
I think they're takeaways, because I think people are always looking for answers, right? The why me's and what's the purpose to this life? What's the purpose? What's going to happen? Why do bad things happen to good people? Right?
That's probably the biggest one, right? You've heard so many times, Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And to candidly, I don't know the answers to those fully. God knows the answers to those
Exactly.
questions.
Yes.
But one of the things I think I try to tell everyone and help those people is there's two things that I think are most important is to remember to be humble before God, always be humble. Humble is important.
Yes.
Number two, understand you're not in control.
Mm.
And as soon as you let go of that control, I used to think I was in control because there's really two Chris Cochrans. You've talked to Chris Cochran 4 years ago, pre-cancer, and I don't know that guy at all.
How was he
And
different?
because I think that guy led a lot with his head, not his heart.
Hmm.
And that's a big difference, right? I'm not saying you don't lead with your head for certain things. There's financial reasons why you have to leave with your head. But I will tell you that the majority, if not all my decisions, I lead directly from the heart, from the neck down, and not use that my head. Because when you use your heart to make decisions, you use lots of different qualities when you do that. I talk a lot about in the book about the art of pausing and being mindful of what you say and how you react to things. And so I think there's a lot to be said in that. And so I think yeah, I think it's important that we do that for
I
sure.
mean, I agree. I feel that I lead with both head and heart. And the heart is letting me make the decision that needs to be the correct decision, but the head is kind of guiding that in so that way I'm not putting myself at risk because I'm trying to do too
Right.
much, or that I've combined the two. But that's just something that's happened through
Well, there you
life and
go.
living, because we grew up with heart. So that was something that I knew it was the other. And, being nice, people will get over on you. They will try to do things so that you feel like there's a fine line where you have to be able to be in the midst of that. But I like how you broke it down a bit. Nice. Nice.
Thanks.
And what is the significance of chapter, the 8,508 days? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, well, it really is a way of showing that life is very, very short. So when you think about how 805 8 8,508 days is, it's the amount of time that Christian was on this earth.
Hmm.
And it shows you how little time we all really have. And it talks about really the what do you want to leave in terms of a legacy during the time that you're here.
Hmm.
It reminds us of how short but impactful a life can be, despite the brevity of time. Here, I believe Christian lived every day with purpose, joy, and love. For me, it's deeply personal reflection of the value of time and how we choose to live each day. So that chapter is meant to bring clarity on those issues. I think there's plenty of places, honestly, where you can go out, and that's kind of how I did that. For that chapter when I started to build that chapter is he was 23 when he died. He was 22 when he was diagnosed. He lived for about a year, but during that diagnosis, but there's plenty of places where you can type in your birth date and figure out, how long have you been on this earth? How many days? And I think it's startling to look at when you think about
Never
that
thought
it's
about
not
it.
that long. And then it's even more startling the older you get and you type in like, well, what's the average age if you were to make it to a good age? It's not a lot of time, right?
Oh
It's
my
not a
gosh, I
lot of,
didn't even know they had
yeah.
all this available. I'm like, oh my
Oh, sure,
gosh.
sure. How many Christmases do you think you got left? And when you
Oh, I don't
like
even
you
want to
said,
know this
I'm
thing.
55 and I'm
Mm-mm.
55 and if I'm blessed that I get to live one until I'm 80, I mean, well that's it's not many Christmases, it's not many how many vacations, right?
Hmm.
Now, I don't say those things. People may listen and go, "Oh, that sounds so depressing." And why would you look at those things like look, I believe in embracing these things because I think it makes you more in tune with your daily life. It makes you
Yes,
realize how beautiful
appreciate.
each day
Exactly.
is.
Mm-hmm.
You appreciate it. So it's not that I focus on it. It's not like I spend my time dwelling on it, but it is a good reminder that we're here for a very short time. And so if you can do that, and I think saying what's good about today as a reminder in the morning, and later on in the day, it's a way to remind you of what you can do and all the good that can happen.
Hmm. Nice. Nicely put.
Thanks.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Legacy Fund? What is it? How does it work? What's happening with it?
Yeah. So the Legacy Fund was set up by Christian prior to
Oh,
Christian's
wow.
passing.
Okay. This opens a new light.
Yeah. Yeah. So Christian really did a lot of prior to his death. We had these deep conversations, and Christian said, "Dad, what do you think we can do after I'm gone to help others? What can I continue to do here on this earth?" And of course, as a dad, I'm like, "Christian, you've done enough.
I
Don't
know,
even
right? You're
worry.
like,
You've done
okay,
so
this is it.
much."
Yeah, exactly.
But he's like, no, he was insisting. He's like, "Dad, I want to be able to help." So the thing was, the Legacy and Fund is built around Christian's mission. It was to help those who are in need, children who are in need. He wanted to give back to the arts as well. He
Nice.
loved animals, so we give in that fashion. So the fund is set up to provide scholarships. We work with,
Mm.
we recently did an after school program with the Charter Schools Propel Charter School District here in Pittsburgh. That's inner city kids who are struggling, and are from broken homes, children who are homeless. It's
Wow.
startling to see what is actually happening. And so we try to provide, of course, some financial benefits from the foundation.
Hmm.
We try to support any after school programs to bring light to the message of what's good about today. At the heart of everything we do is what's good about today.
Nice.
And we have now started to implement this program into school districts. We're
Wow.
seeing it spread. It's spreading where children can come in, and there's big whiteboards that says what's good about today. Children write what's good about today when they
Oh, I
first walk
love
in,
it. Yes.
and they and at the end of the day they can erase it. The next day they start over. Now what is great is it gives kids hope. It
That's
gets
great.
kids to understand what's good about today, but it also gives parents an understanding how this child is feeling and
Yes.
where they're at,
Yes.
right? Because if they're having a bad day and they can't write anything, then you can identify areas of need. And so,
Mm.
yeah, the foundation is set up to support those kind of opportunities, and we continue to do it. We continue to work through the church. We're part of something called St. Stanislaus. It's a Catholic church, one of the oldest Polish churches here in Pittsburgh. We gave back. One of the things Christian wanted to do is give back to that church. And in the heart of the city of Pittsburgh, in Smallman Street, which is one of the busiest areas of Pittsburgh, where there's shops and booming, it's a very urban landscape. There's this beautiful Polish church. It's huge. But right next to it is 6 boulders and water fountains and a plaque of Christian, his face, and it
Wow.
says, "What's good about today? What's good about today?" And it talks about Christian's
Oh,
message.
wow.
And there must be thousands of people pass by there a day
Wow.
that sit, they pray. There's a rock to rest your weary knees when you're in trouble. And Christian has a message that talks about Christian, but it also says a quote from Christian, which is, "Be kind to everyone because you never know what they're going through."
Mm.
And so it's not an Christian was very spiritual. Obviously we're Christians, but
And you
Christian
all were
was very
going to church
spiritual.
as well, still, as you did when you were kids. Is this
Of
correct?
course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So, but Christian loved all religions. He loved it because he felt like they were all intertwined with one another. He felt like he could, there's a whole chapter on Christian's towel, and it talks about not swimming against the river and learning how to flow with the river.
Wow.
And so I think, again, lots of messaging in here to help those, navigate this, turbulent world that we live in, especially today for all of
Honey,
us.
Christian had been here before. This is like, wow. Wow. You know what I mean? And there's some
Thank you.
pretty impressive young teenage, you know what I mean? Like young teens that are doing all kinds
Hmm.
of things. But this is a little exceptional. I would have to say for myself that, there's just peace and love that I'm sure as a kid, there must have been the other coming in, but most of the kids aren't thinking selfishly. His ego is not in play by how you speak, and that's unusual for a young person. They're all about the ego and filling it up and understanding it. So, wow, I'm marveled
Yeah.
over here by this, and
Yeah, he didn't do that. Yeah.
this is it. And, everybody, there's a reason for everything, regardless of what we know or not. And he came here and has done a purpose, like huge, like, wow, that even though he is not here, what his message is still rocking on, and people are really being moved by this. So, and how it's affected you as the parents is huge. It didn't have to be this way, right? It didn't have to be that you guys have rallied behind this. And so I'm really just marveled. This is something. How do people, if they want to donate to this, if they want to be a part of this, how does that work for the stranger, for the person who feels empowered by listening to this? Is there a way that people can be involved who is a stranger? How does that work?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I tell you, there's a way to be involved in your own life, right?
Yes.
It's just to be more loving, caring, remind people of what's good about today. The most important thing to me is about the spreading of love and spreading that message of what's good about today. If one person is out there and takes this message, what's good about today, and goes to another person and says, I want to tell you a story, and I want you to remind you about what's good about today. And they'll go, what do you mean what's good about today? Let me explain why you can find beauty in that day. To me, that's the most important thing. So secondarily, of course, they can get involved. They can go to you can type in the Google Christian Cochran, and you will find all kinds of information on Christian, right? There is a website dedicated to Christian, christiancochran.org. There it tells all the stories. I could be on here for 2 days for all the inspirational stories that have flowed into our home, journals, people that met Christian for 5 minutes to change their lives.
I love
Christian
it.
saved the way where he saved lives. There are things that I didn't even know about that came to light, but definitely christiancochran.org. You can learn about there. You can also find the Legacy Fund, and you can get connected through there to the Legacy Fund, where we do take donations for sure. Ever small, it doesn't matter. If not, don't worry about that. That's not always the most important thing, but really taking the message. And then myself, it's chriscochranspeaks.com, where I speak. I do go to events and tell the story, and if people need that, or just want to reach out and need someone to talk to.
Sorry, I've just jumped all around. I was so moved at that moment. I was like, how do we... You like giving, it's okay about the information. Yeah, we're going to, but yes, I was really just so moved. Like, how do we get involved in this? So thank you for that jump in. I want to change a little bit, and I want to talk about just doing the work. I want to know, how do you help people identify and break through self-limiting beliefs?
Explain when you say self-limiting beliefs.
I guess maybe when people feel that maybe that they might not be good enough, or maybe that they don't have the skill to, or the potential to, but just believing that they don't have it.
You're right. Okay, I got you. So, well, I encourage people first, recognize the belief that holds them back, right? By reflecting on their fears and their past experiences. Then I try to help them reframe these beliefs into opportunities for growth, right? This was huge part of Christian's journey, right? He refused to let his illness define him. And that mindset allowed him to live with joy and purpose until the very end. So helping others shift their perspective is key, honestly, to breaking through those limitations as you described.
Yes.
You've got to be able to reflect on them. You got to be able to look at them. You got to look at your past experience. You got to be able to explore that. You got to be able to talk about it.
And that's coming with trust and understanding. Yes, vulnerability. This is it. You're right.
Credible vulnerability, right? And be authentic to yourself, right? There are so many people in this world we meet, I'm sure you've met them, that are just not authentic.
Yes.
And they are hiding behind something. And I think I got to break free of those things. The more that we're vulnerable, the more that we connect with others, it frees us of those limiting type of, it allows us to break through. Really, it can be a big breakthrough moment.
Tell us about the mindset. How is that important in professional and personal success?
Well, mindset is everything, right? Shapes how we respond to our challenges and our opportunities. really a positive, growth-oriented mindset. It enables us to find solutions. It keeps us to stay motivated and view setbacks as stepping stones, right? Nothing that people don't already know, but I've learned that through the journey. And again, I always reference Christian's journey because it's my purposely driven book, because I refer to everything. I'm just telling the story that even in the face of unimaginable adversity, your mindset can help you find peace. It can help you find purpose and really the strength to move forward. So mindset, you can get down fast. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that after Christian's diagnosis, my mindset was good. My mindset was terrible, horrible.
Thank you for your honesty.
I was down. I was out. For the first year and a half, I was a zombie. I couldn't get out of bed. My first Christmas, I drank myself to drunkenness to pass out. I took pills, I did things that I'm not proud of, but I didn't, Christian was the center of our family. I wasn't the center. My wife's not the center. He was the center of the family who touched all of us and gave us hope. And when that gets ripped out of you, that beautiful life of what he was doing on the earth, because you ask those questions, right? Why would you take him? Like there's plenty of evil people out there, right? Yes. Why this guy? This is the guy who's going to change and make differences in the world. He's going to bring hope and strength to so many. So I think that why, right, which I'm past, it takes you to your knees, it takes you down. And so, having the mindset to move forward, put your, one foot in front of the other. They're all cliches, but it's true.
And it's a day at a time. It's a day at a time, right? You can you just have to take it a day at a time. You can't be trying to feel like what's going to happen this moment. You just have to be in the moment for the grieving process of any situation of this magnitude, where there's no rule book. Yeah. There's no, this is how it's supposed to go. So, but your wife was there with you through all of this, correct? It was the both of you together?
Yes, but okay. Hey, statistically, families fall apart, when these happen, right? The percentages are off the chart. Because the problem is people cannot understand the other person's grief, right? Okay. I'm going through my own set of grief. I've lost my son. She's lost her firstborn child. She's going through a different set of grief. My two siblings are going through grief. And for most people, that's a very difficult thing to navigate. Yeah, we did navigate it. It was, we together went to therapy. We did a therapy. I didn't stay with therapy because it wasn't for me. It's good for lots of people. But for me,
did it help your wife?
Yes. Yeah, it helped her. Okay. Sure. I mean, it doesn't resolve the problem. See, the problem is a mindset, right? But it's at the end of the day,
it is the mindset. You're right.
My son is still dead.
Exactly.
Right?
This is it.
It's not like normal life problems. We all have. I'm late on a bill. I didn't get into the right school. I mean, you name the problem.
Yeah.
But they're all solvable problems. They're all problems we can solve. Exactly. I can't solve the death of my child. He's gone. I can't bring him back. So I think that's just something we have to cathartically work through. And you talked about, day by day. Yes. To me, it was a minute by minute, and we broke it down by minute to healing, and then it became week, hour by hour. Then let's get through this week, and let's get through this month. Let's get through the first birthday, the first Christmas, now it's the second Christmas, third Christmas. It's tough. So
are there other children that you have? Was he the only child?
No, he has a younger sister, Kate. She's 15 months younger than him. They were best friends. They went to the same college as well. She graduated from the same school. She followed him because she loved him so much and he was so good. And then I have a younger son, Nicholas. He's
smart kids.
He's 4 years younger than. He goes to the exact same university too, studies the same things that Christian did at the Honors College.
And he knew Christian as well, or he was a baby, or no?
No. He was a teenager. So I think in many ways, Christian, so he would be, I think when Christian got this, right, he was, right, he's 22. Nick was 17, 18.
Oh, okay. He's, okay. So, okay, I got it.
Yeah, and it was
Okay.
tough because he was home during COVID. So
Oh,
my
wow.
son, he witnessed everything, right? And my son's in the house with us,
Hmm.
slow, going through every procedure, everything, slowly dying. He was there when surrounded my son when he passed away, took his last breath. So all of this is
Wow.
very traumatic. All of this is very
So the
difficult
whole
in
family
witness and
is
go through.
involved. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. How are the
yeah, very
kids
much involved.
affected by this in their grieving? You as adults with your wife, and it's a bit different that we can handle things in a different way. But how are the kids now? Are they in the same feeling of empowerment to help others as you are as well?
Well, it's a little different.
Okay.
Um, I think that again, I think siblings are going to grieve differently than parents.
Hmm. Yes.
I think my younger son Nicholas is chooses to sort of not talk about it.
Okay.
He doesn't. It's not that he can't. There's a lot that he saw. There's a lot that he went through. I think he chooses to focus on the positive, right?
Hmm.
And it's school, it's his studies, it's being around his family. As a matter of fact, I heard him come home just moments ago from college. He's only an hour and 15 minutes away, so he'll drive home and spend a night with us. He just loves to be with us and be home, right? We're
Hmm.
close. He's in a fraternity, so he found brothers there. I think he seeks it that way. My daughter's married. She's married to a naval officer who
Hmm.
serves overseas on the USS Cole right now in the Middle
Wow.
East. She's a toughie, so she navigates this a little differently. She can openly talk about it. We can have conversations,
Hmm.
and listen to music that Christian loved. And so yeah, we joke about Christian's jokes and we remark on all the beauty he brings. So, we talk about it, but listen, it's still fresh. It's only been 3 years, right? It's
Hmm.
this past September 1st. So it's still a fresh part of our lives and not,
No, my gosh, of
it's
course it's
just
still
there.
fresh. Of course. And their
Yeah.
kids, the imprint on a child is so different for us. It's different, and
Yeah.
granted, no parent should bury their child. So ideally, we can't
Yeah.
express to know what you're feeling either as well. It's just like you say, a step by step that's happening. And the book is from your perspective, or is it from the family's perspective, you and your wife's perspective? Where does it really
Yeah.
focusing coming from?
Well, I'm telling the story. It comes
Hmm.
from me, but
Okay.
it implements. My wife does speak in the book too, right?
Oh,
There's
okay.
there's whole sections where from a mother's perspective, a mother's
Wow.
view. There's a perspective from Christian's girlfriend Rachel,
Wow.
who is right now. He
He's in
met
a
her
relationship.
a
Okay.
couple of years. He met her overseas in Prague, a study abroad
Wow.
program, and they fell in love and stayed in love. And she is a lawyer in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Um, and she went to law school and she was inspired by Christian. He pushed her to do that. And yeah, she still comes and visits us. She flies on plane. She was here about a month ago. She'll stay with us for, 5 days. She just
Nice.
sacks out in her living room like she always used to. And she just
She like, I'm back,
we're
y'all.
close.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, we talk all the time. And so yeah, yeah, I think I answered your question.
Yeah, yeah. No, you did. You did. Thank you. I want to ask, working with different organizations and working with personal people, how do you stay motivated to continuing empowering others? I know you spoke about your son's message, but you're a human person. So is there something else that you do personally to keep up with, and I'm assuming that this works with your state of mind, your mental health as well. Is there something that you do, a routine?
Hmm. Yeah, I start each day routine person. So I start each day with a moment of gratitude,
I love that.
reflecting on Christian's question of what's good about today. This helps me stay grounded, focused on the positive, even difficult times and difficult what I call casual grief, right? Because it just passes and hits me every day.
Hmm.
I also take the time for reflection, journaling. I stay connected with people who uplift me. I
Oh,
surround
nice.
myself with people who uplift me.
Hmm.
Surround myself with strong support system and regularly engage in meaningful conversations with others, which allows me to continually empower and inspire those. And I think the most rewarding part is witnessing transformation, right? When individuals or teams realize their own strength and begin to approach life and work with a new mindset, it's powerful, right? So
Yeah, no,
helping
it's
people
true.
break
You're
through
right.
so helping them break through, as you mentioned, their self-limiting beliefs, step into their potential. Their potential brings me joy because I know it creates ripple effects, just as Christian's message continues to do the same.
Nice. What qualities do you believe are essential for someone to be a more effective and empowering leader?
Wow. There are so
Sorry.
many.
You like, Chris is
No, no,
mourning
no, no.
here. All right, look.
And right I am like, these are heavy questions. I'm like trying to
You're doing
sort
so
through it. Yeah.
fantastic. We're doing so grand. You're doing so grand. Take your time. Take your
Yeah,
time.
no problem. Um, yeah, I think, qualities that
And this is your opinion.
I
This is totally your opinion about what you think. So there's no wrong answer.
yeah, I think the qualities that are out there is just those who have love in their heart,
Love. Okay.
a strong, love, kindness, all those, if you want to call them cliche type of words that we hear. Listen, I think that true love, and I always refer to it as agape love, right? Is
Yes,
the deepest
agape.
of,
Woo.
yeah, right. So it's really, that's important that you have that. But I would go really to the three things I talk about when I do conversations and I talk to people. And there are really three important things, three takeaways, if you want to call them. I think the power of perspective is incredibly important because you have to ask yourself every day about these, what's good about today, and focus on that. I think that number two is resilience in daily choices, right? We make daily choices. I think that
Can you give an
it
example
plays
of
a
that for the
meaningful.
listeners? What is that? I know what it means, but I
Sure.
want. Yes.
Sure. So I always use Christian as my example, right? So watching my son endure these endless treatments, these therapies, these surgeries, I realized something profound. Resilience isn't a trait. Okay. Hear this.
Okay.
Resiliency is not a trait. It's a decision. Okay. Christian made that decision every day. And resilience doesn't always mean fighting or overcoming. Sometimes resilience means acceptance, accepting what we cannot change, but still showing up with courage. And I think in our lives, we face challenges, disappointments, and heartbreaks. But what defines us is our ability to stand back up, keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. So, we must learn to find strength in the very act of continuing
To be
the face of
resilient.
each day with a sense of purpose. So
Wow.
I think resilience isn't about falling down. It's about choosing to rise every time.
Wow. I feel like we should just be like fireworks and like the band hitting up, like play it now. Like, yeah. Woo! I love it.
And I think, third is legacy. And I think legacy can be built on small moments. And so,
Can you explain that one as well?
Christian, that
thank you. Sorry.
yeah, and what we leave behind isn't built on grand gestures, but it's in small, meaningful moments that we create every day. And so, legacy's not measured in years; it's measured in moments. And so, legacies.
I've never heard that
what
before.
we do today.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Okay.
That's nice.
Well, I didn't steal it from anybody, so.
Okay, it's patented. It's patented.
There you go. You got it. It's yours.
Yeah, no, I will totally give you the credit. I will say someone said, but yeah, that's great. I mean, ideally, when you think of legacy, you think of longevity, you think of something with something long. So I never thought about it in something short, so
Yeah.
What a great way to see it. Like there's a different perspective. There we go. Nice.
Absolutely.
Oh, so great. So great. I like to ask all my guests this final question. Is your glass half empty or half full?
My glass is half full. Always.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, some
Absolutely.
people have different feelings about it, right? But yeah, it's always a great
Wow.
question to
You
ask.
got people that say the glass is half empty?
I've had people say that it's overflowing, that it is under full because it needs more room to fill it up. Like, yeah, people have their own concept about it. So it's
Huh.
always great to hear a variety of answers for this question. Yeah. Definitely variety.
Wow.
Yes, for sure.
Wow.
I want to ask you, do you
Interesting
have any
question.
final thoughts for our listeners?
Sure. I guess what I'd leave everyone is life, life is it's going to hand us challenges. It's going to bring us to our knees, and sometimes we won't know how to move forward. But if there's one thing Christian taught me, is that there's always something good about today. It might be small, it might be hidden, but it's there. And when you choose to focus on that, when we embrace resilience, and when we commit to creating a legacy and build on love, kindness, and courage, we don't just survive. I think we thrive. And so today I'd leave you with this. What's good about today? And how will you let that guide you forward?
I love that. And that message helped totally. Today means that we are present. We are in the now. We're not talking about tomorrow. We're not talking about the past of yesterday. I love it. It's a present statement. It puts you into the now. Where are you right here? And I love that. I love that. Oh, so fantastic. Can you
Awesome.
please tell everyone how they can reach you if they want to find out a little bit more about you?
Sure.
And your
Well,
book,
you
of
can
course.
certainly learn more. Yeah, if you want to learn more about me, chriscochranspeaks.com. If you want to learn a lot more about the foundation, the works that we're doing, the events that we hold, what we're giving back, that's christiancochran.org. You can always just type in Christian Cochran into Google and find it. If you'd love to pick up my book, that'd be awesome, and leave a review. I love that too. You can find the book on Amazon. You can find the book in Barnes and Noble. You can find it globally right now, right? So it's on global distribution. It came out August 22nd. Not even a month
She's
ago.
fresh.
Less than a
She's
month.
fresh, baby.
Yeah, it's
She's
fresh.
fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh. So I encourage anyone who is looking for some positive and love and understanding, pick up the book. I think it's really important. I think you'll be inspired, and I hope they do that.
Yes, all of this information will be listed under the podcast information, so they'll be able to find it if they're not trying to write everything down. And people are not trying to write things down. So
That's true.
it will be there listed for them to find easily for that. Did you ever think you'd be an author?
No, I don't want to be an author, to be honest with you. I never.
Well, it's too
That was
late.
not. Well, well, I know it's too
Somebody
late,
has to
but
tell the story, right? Come on now. Somebody has to be the
yeah,
storyteller.
I guess I tell that from the perspective of pre-cancer guy. Like that my intentions were never to do that. Was to just work my businesses, which I still continue to do, grow through that, and be with my children. But I didn't think I had anything to offer even prior to this. It's just we all have something to offer. I just didn't think this is not the path I wanted to go in terms of that. But it is important to get the story out. It's Christian's guide. It's inspired by Christian, and that was everything. Many parents who lose children, the scariest part for them is I don't want my child to ever be forgotten. So I don't want him ever to be forgotten. It's my job to make sure you get to know my son. And I think by the end of the book, when you read this book, you will know my son better than you thought you ever knew anyone. So you will think he's your friend too.
Oh, I love that. Wow. What a powerful, powerful story. What a powerful story. So awesome. And so great for you as parents. Like, my gosh, you guys get a double because there's no rule book on this and you have to put the pieces together. And so, yeah. And for your wife as well, you tell her, I said, like, yeah, great.
I will.
So super. And for the rest of the
She's
family.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure. Look, she's got to be. Y'all been together too long. Y'all got it together too long, for sure.
No one else could stand us. That's probably why.
That's so funny. That's so funny. I'm sure her face would probably just be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, she's much better than me. She's a very wonderful human being.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for your time and energy today. And thank you for being a guest here on Glass Half Full. all the information and the stories really touched my heart as well. And yes, my thought process is what is good about today. So it's going to be thinking in my head as well for moving it forward, and pay it forward as what I can do as well for that. Thank you so much for the chat today.
Thank you, Chris. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is all mine. You have a wonderful morning. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, listeners of Glass Half Full. Thank you for tuning in to another inspiring episode of our podcast. I'm your host, Chris Levins, and I want to express my gratitude to each and every one of you for being a part of our supportive community. Remember, Glass Half Full is not just a podcast. It's a safe platform for everyone to share their life experiences. Your stories and voice matter, and we appreciate you for being here with us. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay updated with our future content, please subscribe, follow, and rate our podcast on Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us reach even more listeners who can benefit from these valuable life experiences. As we wrap up this episode, always keep in mind, you are blessed. No matter the challenges you face, there's a reservoir of strength within you. Until next time, stay positive. And remember, the glass is always half full. See ya!